Hello there friends, my name is Nina and welcome back to my channel. And I like to call this part of the channel Wrestling with Books because I've learned that I love reading even more when I'm talking about it. I love chatting books with the friends I've made or I've already had on here, and I love watching what other people are reading. So what I'm doing today is my April reading wrap up. So I'm going to talk about and share with you everything that I've read in this past month. And I'm going to be pulling up my Goodreads profile so I can look through that, and I'll have my link to my Goodreads down below if you want to be friends. And then I'm also gonna bring out my Kindle because the majority of the reading I do is always on here, and I don't always finish everything that I set out to read. You know, sometimes you just have to say, no way, Jose. That is a Jim Steinman Dance in My Pants reference. If anyone knows the song, wow, then you just went up a lot in my book. So let's talk about the first book that I finished this month, and it was Renegades by Marissa Meyer. This so far is my favorite book of the year. Renegades is a young adult novel, and it primarily focuses on a girl named Nova who does have a superpower or a gift, but rather than use it with the Renegades, who are the heroes of this warped, corrupt city, she is kind of working with these supervillains and decides to go undercover with the Renegades. So a lot of great characters are introduced, conflicts come up, and I guess you start to question your definition of heroes and villains, because there are times when you really do side a bit more with the villains and times when you side with the heroes. So it's really great. That was the first book in a trilogy, and I cannot wait to get more. I had gotten that on Kindle Unlimited, so it was included in that, but the rest of the books aren't. So Kindle Unlimited is a tease. That's how I'm feeling about it now. I have Kindle Unlimited for a 2-month trial right now, so that was one of my reads for that, but I don't know yet if I'm going to pursue it. But we're going to discuss some of the other books I've read through Kindle Unlimited. Oh, so we do have other people's highlighted quotes that are popular. One of them is, "One cannot be brave who has no fear." That quote comes up a lot in this book. And another that's highlighted frequently is, "How can we expect people to change if we don't give them the chance to?" Now, some people who I'm following or friends with have reviewed it, and some of them break my heart a little. Even though Heather from Bookables rated it a 4.75, she said, "I did not expect to love this as much as I did, but it honestly could have been half the length." I liked it at the full length because it was very Gotham City to me. I felt like we were just in Batman territory with all these new characters. So that's a little bit of what somebody else thought of this book too. But let's move on to what we read after that, which was, The Magic of Manifesting Money. So this is another Kindle Unlimited book, and what I had been doing was waking up early to start my day, but the first thing I would do when I wake up is read, because it was helping my mindset to be less frantic, because normally I like to sleep until I absolutely cannot anymore, like until time will not allow it and work has to start. So then I wake up really frantic because it's like, gotta get to the desk, because I wasted every minute I could on sleeping. So by waking up early, I get up and I start reading more of like a self-help book. I'm really into self-help and manifesting, and I liked this book. This was a Kindle Unlimited, kind of like, sometimes on Amazon you find these self-published but good books, and sometimes they're self-published and not good. You know, just gonna be honest. This one was good though. I did get things from it and highlights from it. So let's check out some of my highlights. Okay, one thing they mentioned was keep things organized and in their place. Scattered items equaled scattered energy. Can you tell? My energy is scattered. So having that highlighted might help me to organize things more. And then this I really liked. It was tap into the vibration of freedom and you will start noticing more freedom in the form of money coming your way. Because money represents freedom. So if we think in that mindset, we're able to attract it more. So by reading in the morning and whenever I'm reading, have any time to read, I try to think, how beautiful and freeing is it right now that I have the time to sit and read, even if it may feel like I don't, because yeah, I'm reading, but I could be doing the dishes or I could be doing more work. Whenever I am able to read, I try to tap into that mindset because it can create that freeing energy in my life and I need more of that. I want to feel free. And I am reading from my computer today, obviously, so that's why I have to have the glasses on. So if you don't like glasses glare, just please don't even comment it because I'm fragile and I can't deal with it. So you may not have known. Let's move on to the next book. That one's out. April was National Poetry Month, or poem writing, something about poetry. So I said, well, let's look for a poetry book. So I went to my digital library and I found one that looked interesting to me because it was poetry and it was tied in like a graphic novel. So it's like comic strips with poetry. And so it's called In the Year of the Virus, a poignant look back at the time when the world was affected by the coronavirus by Felix Chong and Jia He Yi. And the poems are really fun. This was honestly like a 10-minute read. It went much quicker than I thought it would, but I love that the poetry was aligned with imagery. And reading this so well on my Kindle made me realize like that I think I am ready for graphic novels in my life. If you have any suggestions for me, please let me know down below, because from me loving Renegades to me loving the graphic novel or comic like book on my Kindle, it's like I think I'm ready for some of these comics to be consumed by me on my ebook or even as a book format if I'm able to get one. So I enjoyed the year, In the Year of the Virus. I love the format of it, everything. That was from my library, not from Kindle Unlimited. This next book was from Kindle Unlimited, and it is called The Titanic Sisters, a riveting story of strength and family by Patricia Falvey. Now, do not let this book fool you. This does not. The Titanic, like they're on it, but they're on it for maybe, gosh, how many pages is this book? I mean, maybe they're on it for 50 pages, maybe. And it feels like that's how a lot of people felt about it. It was almost, this book felt like clickbait to me because of it, because it was like they got me to read it because they mentioned the Titanic, but it was more so that the Titanic and the events of it, you know, would come up just through where they ended up and how they got to where they are, etc. But you're not on the Titanic that long, and I felt kind of cheated because I really wanted a Titanic story, which it looks like I'm gonna get from the Stacey Lee book that's gonna be coming out soon. I think it's called Luck of the Titanic or something like that. So I'm just waiting for that book now, because this one I felt like they did me dirty, and it was tough to get through. It was about two sisters. I should tell you what it's about, right? Nora and Delia, and they really aren't treated the same way by their parents. Nora is kind of adored by her parents, where Delia is not. And Nora gets this great opportunity to be a tutor, so to speak, with their extended family in New York, and then Delia's just kind of gonna be left behind. And so she finally pleads to the father, you know, I need to get out of here. I have no love here, no chances here. And the father arranges for her to get to New York and work for her family there too. And what happens on the Titanic influences what happens in the rest of the book. So the Titanic is a gateway to the story. It's not the story itself. So you still may like it. They come from Ireland. They are in that, you know, old world New York and eventually Texas. So if you like things in that era, you might like this book still. But if you're just looking for the Titanic, then this one was not enough for me. The next book I read was something I was reading in the mornings, and it is The Miracle Morning. And it was so aligned with what I was trying to bring into my life. And this book, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, I've listened to it on podcasts and whatnot, and it really supports getting up earlier than you normally do to do your self-care. So some things that they suggest doing are meditating, writing, exercising, having water as soon as you're up to help hydrate your body to wake you up. Have your coffee too, you know, whatever it is. And to spend that time, and reading as well, they get into just how can you nurture and nourish yourself in the mornings in that time. So it really helps support what I was trying to do with getting up early to read. And they also have a really great Facebook group, and the way the book was written just really worked for inspiring me to want to improve my life and my habits and have more time for myself, because lack of freedom, lack of time is something I've been struggling with. So that's why I've been trying to affirm more time, more freedom, etc., etc. The next book is the only physical book I read this month, and it's Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. And this came to me from the Disney housewife Heather, which was so nice of her. I don't have print books enough, but when I do, I definitely think this is something I want to do, because I don't keep books due to space. If I had a library or an extra room for books, I probably would, but right now I know my tendencies. I'm a hoarder, so I try to limit it. So I love the idea of kind of sharing books with a friend, and I'm going to be sharing this with another channel, Lindsay B. You should check her out for book content and Disney content as well. And this book was so good. It's a thriller. It goes into a very famous kind of gothic New York City building where the rich and famous have stayed. This is fictional. This isn't a real building. And Jules, the character we're following around, I pictured her looking like Jessica Biel. Jules becomes an apartment sitter there. It's a strange situation. Why does a building like this need apartment sitters and people that they're paying to come watch the apartment? You know, that, well, I mean, don't you have waiting lists? Like, there must be people dying to get in this building. Why do you need apartment sitters? But Jules, you know, needs a place to stay. She needs the cash, so she does it. And that answer of why are they doing this, and a lot of other things come up, and it's a really fun, thrilling story where I didn't see where they were going. So this is a good one. I definitely recommend picking it up. Heather finished it quick. She finished it, I think this was like a one-day read for her. For me, it was a little longer because I usually read at night with the Kindle. So when I got the time to sit and read, you know, during the daylight hours, this is what I was grabbing. And the last book I read in the month of April is Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas. This is the same author who wrote Cemetery Boys, which I loved. So that was enough for me to want to read this. But then when I got more of a grasp of what this was about, this book is about Wendy Darling. It's inspired by Peter Pan. And what if Wendy came back and her brothers didn't, and Wendy doesn't remember what happened? So her brothers have become missing people, and that's an open case. They don't know what's happened. Wendy's been struggling with that, and slowly she starts to get her memories back of the time they went away, where they went, and what happened. So Peter Pan is in this, Wendy is in it, and that was intriguing for me. Unfortunately, it did miss the mark for me. I I had to push to finish it. For me, a sign of me not being engaged is like I found myself skipping ahead to just reading the dialogue and kind of skipping all the subtext in between because I just wanted to finish and get through. It wasn't like Everland, another Peter Pan retelling that's kind of straightforward and straight through. It was very different, very real world. You know, there is no, you don't go, not space on the card, but what I was saying in case it got cut off is that you do not go to Neverland. There isn't like Captain Hook, you know, it's not a true, I would not call this like a Peter Pan retelling. It's just inspired by Peter Pan. The relationship between Wendy and Peter did remind me of the relationships that we saw in Cemetery Boys, where you have somebody out of their element following somebody else in their home, in their culture, in their land. And so if you liked that part of Cemetery Boys, you may like this book for that. But for me, it didn't reach the mark of Cemetery Boys. So Aiden Thomas does have books coming out that I can't wait for. There's one where all it says, and it's like not gonna be for a while, but it says gay Titanic in space, and I'm like, I need that book. I just need to know. I need to know. So that's what I read in April. I do have one other book that I'm currently reading, but May is a big month. I saw on the Nerdy Narrative channel that a readathon has been started saying May the 4th, may the Force read with you. The prompts are Star Wars based, but the books don't have to be. So let me see if I can pull this up quick. Got some deets. I'm gonna flip this around. So Break Even Books is doing this, I believe, with some other channels. So I'm gonna link his video about this below. And you pick, as you read each prompt, you rank up in the tiers. You're either going on the light side or the dark side, but y'all know me, I'm on the dark side. So for the dark side, I'm gonna have to read a book from a duology, a book under 300 pages, a book with political intrigue or royalty, a romance book, or a book with a black cover. Once I finish all of those, then I can do a companion. And for the dark side, that's a book over 500 pages or the first book in a series. And these are just the rules. So, yeah, you have to do one book per prompt. So I can't say, well, this book is, you know, has a black cover and it also is a romance. Like, you have to have one book per prompt. Prompts can only be used once. I already said that. Dark side prompts only apply to the Sith Order. Light side prompts only apply to the Jedi Order, etc. So I think I'm going to do this, and I think I'm going to try to do a weekly reading vlog for it. So I'll do some vlogs showing you what books I'm picking, where I'm getting them from, what I'm thinking of them, etc. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun. And this readathon is for the entire month of May. So you can check this out on my channel. You can check it out on the Disney Housewives channel. I think she's going to do some. And on the Nerdy Narrative, where I heard it about. And of course on Break Even Books. May is my birthday month. So my birthday's May 14th. I'm really excited about that. It's also my anniversary month, so reading a romance novel will be fun. So there'll be a lot of exciting things for me to look forward to while reading this month. Hopefully I get the time to read. I think I gotta just work now so that the anniversary and my birthday can be really, really nice. I'm gonna try to take the time to link all of the books I mentioned to bookshop.org. That's just an alternative way to shop. Instead of Amazon, you can support local bookstores with bookshop.org. So I think I may try and do some affiliate links for that, or they'll just be regular links, but just know you can look for those down below. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know how you did for your reading month in April, and if you think the May the 4th, I keep saying 4th, May the Force read with you a-thon, something up your alley. And I'll see you for the vlogs. See you for the vlogs.